Hey everybody, welcome back to the Chortle Cast. I'm Jake. This is Steven. We're audio waves today, but say hi, Steven.
Hi, Steven.
And Edelgard is Black Eagle trash garbage-eating monster. And if you like her or you support her, you can just get out, okay? That we are not Edelgard supporters here. Welcome to Chortle Cast.
We don't take kindly to your Black Eagle kind here.
Yeah, we don't accept Eagle kind anymore, unless you're Dorothea or Petra, or anybody but Edelgard and Hubert. Really,
Caspar's okay too.
Caspar's okay. Really, it's really just Edelgard. She's the real
really
monster. And Hubert. I don't know much about Hubert, but he's in on it.
And Ferdinand's kind of a prick too, so no Ferdinand either.
Okay, all right, get all those people out. Everybody else, you're welcome. You're okay, all right. But we're not having any of that because this is Chortlecast, the official podcast of Chortle Games, where we talk about video games, movies, TV shows, anime, whatever the heck we want to talk about. Especially when we want to talk trash about Black Eagle House. Steven, I'm obsessed with Fire Emblem right now.
You're welcome. You are welcome.
It is a plague that you have put upon me, and I don't ever want to get better. You know what I mean? Like, I want this sickness to just take me over and just die, just go away. It's amazing. I've had way too much fun, and I love all the characters. I recruited. I just got to the 5-year time jump, and I'm assuming at this point I cannot recruit any other characters.
Yep.
But
as far as I've been able to tell, you are at the point of no return. Anyone you cross blades with at this point on is dead.
Is gonna die. Well, I feel bad about Bernadette then, but everyone else I'm kind of at, whatever. I pretty much recruited everybody except for. So I recruited almost the entire Blue Lions team.
Gosh, it's almost like they actually have a really good cast of characters, man. Everyone hates on Blue Lions. I don't understand. They're the best house by far.
I don't know about the best house. I would argue that Golden Deer is the best house, but my playthrough has been thoroughly enriched by the characters that I have taken from the Blue Lions house. I'm pretty sure I took almost everyone. Like, I'm trying to think through who I didn't get, because I got Felix.
Did you get Sylvain?
I did not get Sylvain. He's probably the only one that I didn't get.
That's sad. He's great.
Well, I'm sorry. Because there's Dedu and Dimitri. I got Annette. I got Felix. I got Ingrid. I got Mercedes. I got Ash.
That's it.
Yeah, so there you go. I got almost the entire Blue Lions house. And then I only got Petra and Dorothea from the Black Eagles. And I'm mad about Dorothea because I got her to become a dancer class.
And then you missed it?
No, I did the whole mission. I won the contest, and she can't use the class. I don't know where the class is not there. Like, there's supposed to be a unique...
Are you checking certifications?
Yes. And
Are you checking reclass?
No, I have not checked reclass.
Go to your inventory screen and you'll see a reclass option.
Okay.
Yep.
Every time I go to certifications to check. Hey, can anybody be certified up? What's the deal? And every time I look at Dorothea again, and I'm like, I know there's supposed to be a unique class section above beginner, and it's never there. So. Reclass, though, that's what I need to look at.
Reclass is where you go to make characters change to the classes that they've already unlocked.
I understand. Well, I hate it because so pretty much once that happened, I stopped using Dorothea. She became an adjunct person that would just kind of.
She's one of my adjuncts.
Yeah, I pretty much keep Mercedes with my character, and then I've usually put. Manuela with Ralph or somebody who I'm just going to send on their way and go around. You don't like Manuela?
You recruited Manuela? No, I killed her.
Steven.
Yeah.
What scandal? I can't believe you killed the teachers because so I had a bunch of students that I was like, okay, I want to recruit them. I want to recruit them. I want to recruit them. And I had a list of priorities. Annette was my top priority because I knew I wanted her to be my love interest. And then
Right.
Dorothea was my second priority, only because I wanted to make sure I had her before the dance competition so that she
Right.
could be my dancer. Once I secured those, I kind of started to branch out. So it was like Ash, Felix, Mercedes was actually in front of Ingrid, but I ended up getting Ingrid first. And then I started working on Petra because I knew I wanted Petra. And then towards the end, kind of after I had gotten those core people that I wanted, I just kind of started throwing, like, I started trying to recruit Manuela. And I don't
Yep.
know if this is just, I don't know what, I didn't want to get this deep into Fire Emblem, but I just am obsessed. I don't know if it's like this for everybody or if it's just programmed to be this easy, but I was able to recruit every staff member, like Catherine, Shamir, Manuela, what's his name? Cyril, who you like.
Yeah.
Who is the older professor? Hammerman or
Hanneman or something.
Hanneman,
like that,
that's
yeah.
it. I was able to recruit them all just by asking.
Faculty's really easy.
Yeah, they were really easy.
Because
So,
I accidentally recruited both Catherine and Cyril.
gotcha. Well,
So the reason I'm not recruiting a lot of people is because, and I told you this before we started, but for my first playthrough, I've been basically building my team. Like I have one team.
one team, one goal.
To me, it's almost robbing the story of additional outcomes if I basically remove them from the equation. Because I know with a lot of these characters, like Catherine, I never use her. I have no desire to use her. I have Felix. Like, why would I use another Swordsmaster when I have Felix? So I kind of hate that I accidentally recruited her because now I don't get to see what her story would have been if she had not joined my house.
Right.
So I'm getting to see the fates of the characters without me intervening, because otherwise a lot of these characters are just going to be benched and they're not going to do anything for the entire story.
So that's surprising to me. So, like, man, you had to fight Manuela.
Yep, Hanneman and Manuela, I fought them both at the same time, and I even fought Hanneman as Byleth. I said, because I was curious, and he said to me something like, "I don't care what you and Adolgard have going on between you. You stand between me. You stand in the way of the Empire, so you have to die." So it was like,
Wow.
it was crazy because, Hanneman before the skip was just this kind, nerdy guy who was just really into crests and everything. But to see that times jump and to see how much everyone really has bought into Adolgard's conquest, it's really interesting to see that happen. Because like a lot of characters, like Caspar, I found him at a fortress. He was tasked to defend it, and I had to run through him.
Yeah.
And I hated it. Like, he even said when I killed him, he was like, "Don't worry about me. I knew that losing a fight meant I'd die," or something like that. Just something sad. It was like, man, even when we're enemies, I don't want to kill this guy. So that's been interesting to me because it makes the battles have more depth when I can see where they would land if I had not recruited them, and see how they talk to certain people in my army if I hadn't recruited them. And so even though it's been hard killing certain characters, it's just giving me more reason to run through a second playthrough, which I'm going to play as Golden Deer, and I'm going to
best house.
kind of... Claude's arguably the best lord.
Yeah.
I love Dimitri, but I just really like Claude's personality. But I'm going to play as Golden Deer, and I'm going to be particular with my recruits again, so that, like, Caspar, I'm going to have him definitely. He's going to be probably the first person I target because I want to make sure I save him this time. But other characters like Sylvain, I'm not going to recruit Sylvain, and I'm going to get to see what happens to him. So it's more interesting to me, and it gives me more reason to play again and again. I'm probably not going to do more than 2 playthroughs, but
Right.
I don't know.
Well, there's only two options, right? You know, the third one is just trash. It's garbage.
You know, it's either it's blue lions, golden deer, or
that's it. That's
garbage,
all there really is. The rest of it just doesn't exist. Well, it's interesting that you're doing that and having a different experience because, like I said, I recruited all the staff. So for me, they all met me at the monastery and were like, "Oh my gosh, great, you're back! We can't wait to fight the Empire with you." And so for them to be so on board with the Empire, that's so interesting. That's just crazy to me. But anyway, all right, we're not here to talk all about Fire Emblem, Steven. We've got too many other things that have happened this week that we got to get to. All right, we've had Gamescom, we've had this Spider-Man debacle that's been going on with the MCU. We've got Disney D23, which has probably garnered more news and announcements than any D23 probably ever because of Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And I feel like every second I look at Twitter, there are 30 new announcements from D23, and we'll get there.
Yep.
But
you're missing the biggest story of the week, though.
Oh, am I?
I built the desktop PC, and I'm coming at you from my desktop gaming area. That's why it's probably so echoey. Yeah, don't act excited or anything. Jeez,
Steven has joined the PC Master race. He's ascended. Ladies and gentlemen.
Let me be clear.
He is a god among us. He's a god who walks among men.
Has anyone ever said that sentence? Okay, let me be clear. I am a god amongst all of you, and that's that. But also...
Okay, let me get one thing straight. I'm a god, okay? You're just lucky I'm here.
I guarantee you Kanye West has said that sentence. It's probably one of his raps. Let me be clear. I'm a god.
Let me be clear. I'm a god. Walking among you. Oh my god. Okay, all right. Anyway, Steven's a god walking among us because he built a PC. All right.
Let me be clear. I've never liked or bought into the phrase PC Master Race.
Until today.
No, even not today. I've built. This is my second desktop that I've ever built.
Right.
I love gaming on a PC. It's great, but PC is not best at everything. And it's all about where your friends are, and sometimes for casual people, it's okay, although something I've noticed, I'm going to rant for literally just a couple minutes just so I can talk about this because I feel like a lot's happened. Ubisoft has kind of abandoned their console player base, so I'm in a good position now having a PC because now Ubisoft, who used to be my main argument for console, has some things better that PC doesn't, like Ubisoft games, because Ubisoft used to not know how to launch games on PC. But now with Division 2 and with a bunch of other games, they're making it very clear that PC is their priority.
Gotcha.
So probably all of my Ubisoft games that aren't going to be purchased by friends, they're going to be on PC. But yeah, I built the PC. It's been great. It's really nice. I'll have to send some pictures to the Discord. You guys already saw my graphics card. I apologize for blinding you with its glory. But so far, I've played.
I should have known your mortal brains could not handle it, but.
Yeah, I accidentally turned the Discord into that scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark where they look at the Ark of the Covenant and their faces melt.
Ray tracing!
So I played 2 games so far.
Yeah?
I played Guild Wars 2, and I'm getting back into it. Jeremy and I are going to be playing that, and that's been really cool. I'm not going to go into much detail there, but if anyone on the channel has a PC or is looking for an MMO to play or has played it in the past, Guild Wars 2, I've got a guild, come play with me, it'd be awesome. But I've also, tonight, as we're recording this, I wanted to really test the limits of the PC, really open it up, see what kind of visuals and speed I can get on it. So I launched Quantum Break.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Which was Xbox One exclusive that came out in 2016 by Remedy, who they came out with Control tonight. I'm going to be streaming that this week. So I played that, and oh my gosh, Jake, you would love this game.
Oh yeah, that was one. That was one of the things. When I did get my Xbox, that was one of the games kind of on my list of like, oh yeah, I should backpedal and get this at some point, and I never did. But
yeah, it was the one reason why I wanted to have an Xbox One. But it's been really cool. The visuals are great, and my
maybe
PC.
that's what Xbox One stands for. It's the one game.
Everyone has one.
Everybody has one game.
But the visuals are insane, and my PC doesn't skip a beat. Like, no stuttering whatsoever. You get really cool time manipulation powers. It's awesome. I'm
Because you
loving
have a
it, and
PC, or is that just part of Quantum Break?
it's just part of Quantum Break.
Oh, okay. I was really hoping you'd just say it's just part of having a PC.
It's been weird. I mean, this is like back to form for me because I started as a PC gamer, and I've always had a PC kind of in my back pocket. So it's been kind of return to form for me. But yeah, I'm glad to be here. Excited to get to play a lot of games that I've been missing, and also Phoenix Point by the maker of the original XCOM is coming out in December, and I forgot about it until after I had already purchased the parts, and I was like, oh shoot, I'm gonna have that in December, and I'm ready to go. So I'm ready for my next XCOM experience 4 months out.
Are we gonna do another playthrough with in that?
I will totally do a gosh, did I call it Phoenix Protocol? That's not what it's called.
That's what you said, and I was like,
I think it's Phoenix Point. It's Phoenix something. But I will be doing Phoenix Point. I will be doing a some content on the channel for Phoenix Point.
Awesome.
I don't know how much, because it's one of those games where it's like it's going to be really punishing, and I'm going to want to absorb every bit of it as I can. So we'll see. But yeah, I have a PC now.
Well,
but don't worry.
I for one am just glad that Zeus banged your mom, and you could rise to the level of godhood, and could grace us with your presence. And
that was the worst possible segue you could have used into Steven's a god now. Like, I'm sorry, Zeus banged your mom. Really, Jake?
That's what I'm going for. Do you have a better suggestion?
Anything else? Literally anything.
What
else.
if Konami bangs your mom? Let's talk about Gamescom. How's that? That good? That better?
Konami? Do you mean Kojima?
I did. That's exactly what I meant. Kojima banged your mom. Let's talk about XCOM. I mean, let's talk about Gamescom.
Good God, Jake.
I'm falling apart, man. I'm falling apart. Gamescom, the gaming convention that happens in Germany every year. It's kind of a smaller E3. There's usually some pretty good announcements that come out of it. But anyway, they do a live show at the beginning to kind of get through a lot of announcements, and a lot of things are going to be available on their show floor. And some interesting news bits came out of that. We're not going to talk about all of them because some of them, frankly, were just kind of smaller than what I was maybe even hoping for, But there were some great announcements. Just some highlights that I was excited about was Little Nightmares 2 got announced, which, for those of you that don't know, Little Nightmares is a game that Brody and I actually did a Let's Play series of a couple Halloweens ago. And we played,
and I did the DLC.
You and I finished the DLC, and so I guess you and I are going to have to continue in too. I don't know. Maybe I can bring Brody back, and I don't know. But the fun thing is it's probably going to be 2-player because they announced like a new character that you're going to meet, and you're exploring outside of the ship that you were stuck in the first one.
Right.
So, but it looks really creepy. It looks really fun. I can't wait. I want to say... Did they give a release date? I want to say 2020, but I don't know if they actually.
Right.
I don't know if they actually put it out there. No, you know what? They didn't. They just said 2020 because that was the first thing I've decided that we have a calendar for the channel, and I have a specific calendar that's just release dates. And I made the decision with Little Nightmares that I was just going to start putting on January 1st, 2020. I was just going to start compiling events of games that are supposed to come out in 2020 but don't have a date yet. And Little Nightmares was the first one to put on there. So I think it's 2020, but they didn't give a date. So anyway, but that looked really good. There was some Avengers gameplay that was shown at Gamescom. There was a 30-minute gameplay that was shown. But that was behind closed doors. But what did get shown to the public and us, or I say us as in like the folks at home, they showed the gameplay that they showed at E3. Yeah. And so we've now seen kind of how everyone plays.
That's up on YouTube, on the PlayStation's YouTube channel.
Yes.
If you want to go check it out.
Yeah, I haven't had time to watch all of them, but I watched through Captain America's stuff. Yep. And it looks really good. It looks. I can't remember what. Well, I guess it's not even something we've talked about, but like we've talked about, I want them all to feel like Spider-Man on PS4. You know what I mean? Like I want Captain America to feel like he has that kind of depth. Watching his combat, I was just like, okay, yeah, they can pull this off because they definitely do feel. Or at least it looks like, this is Cap. This is what a Cap game would look like. Take out that you could also be the Hulk, or you could also be Iron Man. This is.
Did
a Cap
you watch
game.
the Hulks? Did you watch the Hulks?
I haven't gotten to see the Hulk's part. Have you seen his?
Oh yeah, I watched all of it. The Hulk picks up. He can just pick up characters. First thing he does is he picks up a guy and just starts swinging him around like a baseball bat, and then he picks up two guys. Swings them around and then like smashes them together and creates a shockwave. It looks like when you play as the Hulk, you're just gonna, just be
the Hulk
there to like nothing's gonna phase you. Basically, you're just gonna be able to pick people up like they're toys and just throw them.
I saw him. I saw a shot of him like crushing someone's skull or something like that. So
I think that with what they're doing, like to create a game that has like universal rules, where it's like the game itself can build its characters around the basic understanding of the game.
Right.
I think with that in mind, they did do a good job of, according to what we've seen, of making the characters really stand out as their own.
Right. And that's what I was hoping for. So I'm excited to see what comes out of that game. And then, was there anything else at Gamescom that you wanted to talk about, Steven, before we get into the disaster that is?
Are you referring to the reason that Jeff Keighley showed up for work? The reason we had a opening show to begin with.
So yeah, let's just do that. Let's just jump straight to it because, like I said, I'm sure there like we said, we have very specific things that we like here at Chortle Games or that we're looking for in game style. Obviously, Steven has some taste that I don't, but for the most part, we have a somewhat, I don't know, it's not a narrow window of games that we like, but just there wasn't a lot of things. Like they announced a zombie battle royale game or something that like. I knew Steven probably just immediately was like, nope, I don't even want to hear about this. But and then obviously I didn't care about it. So anyway, so there might have been some other announcements that, you might care about, listener, but we just, we don't have time to talk about it because we didn't care about it. But let's talk about Death Stranding because I think we can both agree, Steven, that we don't care about this game. But man, what a show was.
I am... The strongest feeling I have about this game is annoyance at how many people seem to actually want this game for no reason. And like, I used to like Jeff Keighley.
Yeah, me too.
I know people.
I still do like Jeff Keighley. It's just I hate how much he's on top of this Kojima fan base.
Yeah, like. I used to like him, and I know that people like have memed him a lot. They call him like the Dorito Lord and everything because they call him a sellout and whatnot.
Right.
But I think they call him the Dorito Lord. That's the whole thing. Look it up. But
oh my God, look it up.
that's definitely a Kanye West line.
I'm just gonna call this episode "Is Steven Kanye West?"
Steven secretly Kanye West.
A journey to godhood.
Oh man. But Jeff Keighley, every single time he talks about Kojima, it makes me hate him more, and I lose that much more respect for him as a journalist. Because he is so biased, so invested. Like at the show, he pulls out his phone and he goes, "I just got a text, guys. Hideo Kojima is in the building. He's here. He's arrived." And my thought was, why is he just now here? Like, the show is going. He's going to be on in like 30. Did he not sound check? What are you doing, Kojima?
This is the productions guy and you going, did they not do a mic check? How could they not do a mic check on Kojima before they got him out here?
And so, like, that was where my head went. But also, it was just like, man, how do you think the other people here feel? How do you think the other people who came to show their games feel when Jeff gives them, like, 40 seconds to talk about their game, and then Kojima walks on stage and he gets, like, 30 minutes?
Right.
And he spent that whole 30 minutes talking about what he like trying to explain what was on screen, and it still didn't make any sense.
The more they've shown of the more they've shown of this game, the more I think I do kind of understand it. And there's been some write-ups this week of people who, now that we're seeing gameplay, people are coming out and saying, hey, like, I think I understand what this game is about. It's, on broad terms, it's this. And I think, to summarize and to ad-lib or whatever, basically it's just the game, the game is about connections, right? But you're Sam, and you are traveling across the USA, kind of resetting some of these structures and, like, these towers and whatever connection points. Basically, I'm thinking like cell phone tower type things. Like, you're going around activating those, basically connecting the country back together again. Is like what you're doing. And like there's a girl that we've seen in some trailers who, like, she apparently tried to do this first, and you're following in her footsteps, trying to finish what she started. But anyway, on general terms, that's what it is. But, like, Kojima doesn't talk about it that way, Kojima talks about it like it's a piece of fine art, And I do want to just say up front, before it is misconstrued, like, I am not saying that Kojima is not a great game developer and is not, like, one of the better, game developers, or even a game developer that, like, we should respect all game developers, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, Miyamoto, for example, like, he is somebody that, like, when you talk about, game developers who changed the world, Miyamoto is a name that comes up. I don't know that Kojima has earned that type of respect, but we're giving him that almost that level of respect.
It's okay, Jake. You don't have to say it, because I will. I do think Kojima is not a great game developer, or at least he hasn't proved himself.
I don't think he's proved himself to the level of, like, Miyamoto, and right, we're treating him that way.
Right, because Kojima did Metal Gear, and Metal Gear is a great franchise.
Right.
But every single time a Metal Gear Solid game has not been great, people have just been like, there's Konami screwing it up again. Gosh, how long are they're going to stifle Kojima's creative vision?
Right.
And to me, it's like, what if that was just Kojima,
his idea was too crazy,
having flaws, like everyone, but I have, because I have a PC now, but
oh my God,
I'm glad you like that.
No, I agree. And so Keighley invites him out, and he comes out and he's like, hey, I want to show you guys some more. We've seen. What do they call him? The Rain Man? What's the other guy that we've seen the character video of? Half Minute Man or something. He's the Hartman. That's it. He's the guy who he's got like a pacemaker on or something, and like he dies every 24 minutes to like try and find his family in the other plane of existence. But then he gets brought back to life, and he's got a couple minutes before he can go back. Have you seen that character like trailer about him?
No.
Okay. Well, anyway, it's basically just a character profile of like, hey, here's this character that's in the game, and this is the first time you meet him. So they showed 2 more of those at Gamescom on stage. They showed the first one for Mama, and it's this woman. She looks like she's an engineer or something at some building that you're going to come across, and she is still attached to her child, who I'm assuming died in labor, and I don't fully understand what's happening in Death Stranding, but it sounds like there's our world and then there's like a death world, but like they're starting to connect and intermingle. And so for whatever reason, her child died and is in the death world, but is still somehow connected to her via the umbilical cord. And so like she like nurses the baby or something, and it's like it helps with whatever. Anyway, so we see that character. I personally think that is a very interesting story, and I'd love to know kind of what, that's a weird situation to be stuck in, but whatever. Then we see Guillermo del Toro's oh my god, I butchered that name, I'm sorry. Guillermo del Toro. We saw his character, but it's not voiced by Guillermo del Toro, it's just his person. And they explain the babies that are in this game and why there are babies that you're carrying around. They call them they call them BBs, I think. But anyway,
yeah, there are like 3 or 4 things that are referred to by like just the repeating of 2 letters. And it's like, well, Sam needs the BBs to go to the KKs to make an NN, and then he goes pee pee.
Like he's gotta go pee pee and he's gotta go poo poo. You know what I mean? Pee pee worked better, but man, god damn it, Steven, that's so funny. I mean, Steven, damn it, you know what I mean? But yeah, so that was interesting, right? But we actually, that was probably the most revealing of like what the hell is going on in this game, because Guillermo del Toro's character explains what those babies are doing, and basically that because they were stillborn babies, somehow they can connect to the death world, and communicate, but like he tells Sam, he's like, but don't get attached, like it's just a piece of equipment, like it's not a real, but like that baby won't grow up, like so I think based on some of the other trailers, Sam is going to get attached to the baby, and so I understand where that's coming from. And then Steven, this is where the real fury comes. All right, then what's his name, Jeff is like, yo, Kojima, can we see some gameplay? And Kojima's like, yo, I got you, boy. And it starts up, and you see Sam, and he's sitting there. He's hugging the baby in its little pod, whatever. He stands up. He's like, all right, I'm ready to go. And then he starts peeing, and they move the camera around and wiggle it around, and it's like, hey, we're peeing everywhere. So literally, Steven, the first gameplay demo that we are seeing of Death Stranding, the very first thing that happens is they pee. Hey everybody,
and
guess what?
The crowd
you can
goes
pee in the game.
wild.
The crowd did go wild.
Absolutely lost it, and that is everything wrong with Kojima's hype. Literally,
like I don't understand that at all. Like, I'm all for realism in games, but why? You know what I mean? And then my brain really just shut down after when he finished peeing, a glowing mushroom grew out of the ground, and I was just like, was that there before? Like, am I crazy? No, why? And so apparently that's a mechanic in the game, and apparently if you and your friends all group up and piss in the same spot, a giant mushroom might. Who knows what the hell? Kojima himself might appear in the game. I don't understand.
We'll see, Jake. So the mushrooms are an homage to the early days of video games with Super Mario, because Mario had mushrooms.
I don't get it.
That's me being Kojima,
but
with a Jeff Goldblum voice for some reason.
I understood what you were doing. And then we get the reveal that Jeff is in the game. I don't understand why it's Jeff's body, but they didn't get Jeff to record the lines. I get it with Guillermo del Toro. I don't understand it with Jeff. That seems like a weird stretch to do, but whatever. I feel like Jeff is enough of a personality that he could have voiced lines, but whatever.
It would have gotten in the way of Kojima's vision.
Yeah, because this is all about connections and how Jeff is really, he's separated with himself, but Matt Mercer, he's separated from his body, but his body's in Jeff's. You know what I mean? So like, it's all about connections. Anyway, it's just stupid. Like, to me, it's such a, like, even if peeing was a mechanic that could happen in the game, and he even said on stage, like, there was this awkward moment where he's like, it is not what the whole game is about, like, whatever. And
why did you give him a Spanish accent?
Whatever. He was just like, obviously this is not what the whole game is about. Like, if that's true, why did you literally open with that? Like, why not end with that? Why not, that just seemed like a really, really weird choice to me. But whatever. The crowd loved it. So who am I, I'm just a man, all right? I'm a man on a podcast with a PC god, and I'm talking about, Kojima, who is, who knows? He's something higher,
I just...
according to everyone else.
I want this game to fail. I really do. Because I want him to be seen with flaws, so that people can be like, oh, hey, even Kojima can't make a perfect game. Let's, ground our expectations a bit. Because Kojima makes great trailers.
Right.
He is very creative. I'll give him that. But, like, he's been resting on his Metal Gear Solid laurels for a long time.
Right.
And people have been treating him like the second coming just because Konami did him dirty. Like, even before Kojima came on stage at Gamescom, they did like a little highlight reel video talking about who Kojima was, and they included the clip of Jeff saying, unfortunately, Kojima can't be at the Game Awards tonight because Konami won't let him be here. And then the crowd booed, and it's like, good Lord.
Yeah.
Like, I almost said something bad. I'm not going to say it.
Well, anyway, it's just dumb, but we need to move on. We need to move on.
Yeah.
Let's
see.
Let's talk about some other things that are dumb, Steven. Like Spider-Man leaving the MCU.
Oh.
Because Sony and Disney can't come to an agreement. And I'm really just upset about it. Now, I think we have differing opinions on this matter, Steven, but before we discuss our personal feelings, we to just get the news of what's happening out there, in case you haven't heard about it. It came out this week that the deal that Sony and Marvel originally struck to do 5 movies with Spider-Man, 2 that were Sony made solo movies, and then having Spider-Man be a part of 3 other Marvel movies, that deal was only 5 movies and it ended. And so when they came to the table to renegotiate, they could not come to an agreement. Obviously, no one, other than them really knows what, is going on or why they're not coming to an agreement. But the story is that Disney wanted a 50-50 split of the profits. They
wanted a 50-50 stake in co-financing, which means they give 50 and they get 50.
Right.
So half the cost would be on Disney and half the profit would go to Disney.
Exactly. And they couldn't come to an agreement. Now, when this news broke, Sony was I think everyone was pretty quick to blame Sony, and perhaps rightfully so. But Sony quickly came out after and said this was a Disney decision. I'm assuming, though, what happened was, they came to the table. Disney said, hey, we want to do this. And Sony said, no, we want to keep doing what we're doing or something, whatever. And then Disney said, oh, okay, well, then we're just not going to do this. And so Sony's saying, oh, it was Disney's decision, But anyway, who knows? Who like I said, who really knows? This week was kind of long. I feel like every day there was a new rumor about what was going to happen with the Spider-Man situation. But at D23, which we'll get to in a minute, Tom Holland and Kevin Feige came on stage and pretty much confirmed, yes, Spider-Man's out. Like they said he is not going to make any more appearances. Tom discussed how obviously Spider-Man will continue in his own world and with Sony, and they'll do some exciting things with that. But yeah, he's pretty much out.
Right.
And if you don't mind me going first, Steven, my initial reaction to this is just I hate it. I hate it. Because for me, Tom Holland has been the best Spider-Man. I really loved Tobey Maguire just because that was kind of those movies with Sam Raimi. They really did a lot to kind of jumpstart this superhero movie. What is a superhero movie and what really get that hype train started. And at the time I thought Tobey Maguire did a great job, but it was so different from the comics, because Peter Parker is a high school student, and this was him in college, and obviously we've seen that story now. That those stories have happened.
Well, he started as a high schooler, but he was like a 35-year-old man trying to be a high schooler. So
exactly. So it was just very different, But for the most part, it was a true anyway. All that to say, Tobey Maguire was great. I thought Andrew Garfield did a good job as well, but Tom has just been the best, and his Sony's and Marvel's choice. This is such a different Spider-Man than like we've ever seen. I mean, nothing is how it is supposed to be, right? We've got MJ Michelle, who is a completely different type of character than MJ from the comics. The Uncle Ben narrative is all but dropped and somewhat replaced with a Tony being kind of an Uncle Ben character. So anyway, it was just a very different take, but Tom Holland really sold it, and for me personally, I really loved it. And then seeing him in the MCU has just been amazing, right? Having him in there and all the stuff he's done, he is arguably, his I don't want to go, Mr. Stark, or whatever. That is one of the most touching moments from Infinity War. So he had such a huge role, and even Marvel Marvel with Far From Home. I mean, basically setting up Spider-Man to be the next Iron Man, and now he's not a part of it at all. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so I have a lot of feelings, but my frustrations are, I'm number one just frustrated that he's out, because I don't want him out, and I think it's just a stupid thing. I think it's stupid for Sony. I think it's stupid for Disney. I just hate that it's happening. But number two, I'm frustrated that even obviously they knew, because Kevin Feige on stage was like, we knew this couldn't last, it was, but we're so excited that it was able to happen at all. Like, if that's true, why did you just set him up to be the next Iron Man? You know what I mean? Like, why did we even have that narrative? Because now nothing, unless something changes, probably in the next few months, which I don't think it will, that storyline is not just over, but like completely pointless. Like why did any of that storyline happen? And I swear I said this on a podcast too, talking about Spider-Man Far From Home being the end of the Infinity Saga. I swear I said somewhere like that's a weird choice for Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Because and I swear this is what I've said, but like that's a Sony property. Like even knowing that Kevin's directing it or Kevin's producing it or whatever, like and we've got our writers on it, like why would you let that company have the last word in your saga? You know what I mean? And right. even if like I personally kind of consider Far From Home the beginning of the next phase, but it is considered the last movie in the Infinity Saga. Either way you look at it, though, like, why would you have let that be it? And now to be in the situation we're in, it's just horrible. It's just so frustrating. Steven, what are your thoughts on it? Because I know you feel a little bit differently than I am.
So, where do I begin?
You're not as upset about Tom and Spider-Man being gone as you are just think it's a stupid move,
not as
right?
So I have not been the biggest fan of this version of Spider-Man, just because he has not been given the chance to be Spider-Man. He's just been Little Tony, which is why I can't say that Tom
Little
Holland is my
Tony
favorite Spider-Man, because I just feel like Tom hasn't been able to be Peter Parker and Spider-Man in the traditional sense, because he's been too tethered to Tony. That being said, regarding the deal, I understand why Marvel did it, because, and I said this a year ago. It's funny because it happened like as soon as this came out. I said that I called it in a podcast, and it was like a year and a week prior,
right?
Where I said regarding Venom that Venom needed to fail, because if Venom had some semblance of financial success, they would get cocky. Then they would get cocky, because Sony in the past, and I'm not saying that like I'm not. Oh, Marvel's faultless in this. Sony sucks. I'm not. I'm going based on, history. In the past, Sony has shown that they are pretty tone deaf when it comes to what the fans want, and honestly, just critical reception in general. They just see dollar signs. So that you had Venom turn a profit.
Right.
Sequel announced almost immediately. And then you had this little movie called Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, yeah.
Oscar-winning Into the Spider-Verse.
Yep.
One of the best animated films I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
And so Sony is in this place where they're just like, look what we've done. We don't need you. When they're probably thinking that Far From Home is their highest grossing film because of them, when we all know it's not. Like,
that Far From Home is positioned so well, similar to I don't have numbers on this, but I have to imagine that Ant-Man 2 was probably more people probably went to see Ant-Man 2 than Ant-Man 1, simply because it was the first movie after Infinity War, and so people were like, what happens next? Right? Like, what is next? What do we do with the information we've just been given? I can't tell you the reaction from a Sunday or like a week later Saturday night crowd to Ant-Man, the ending credit where Hank and Wasp turn to dust. I mean, a literal, oh hell, Thanos again! Like I literally heard someone yell that, and it's like that Thanos done did it again. Like so many people went to see it because they saw Infinity War and were like, what the heck happens next? So I guarantee you this had a similar effect. And not to say that, I mean, Spider-Man's obviously one of the most popular Marvel characters, and I know a lot of people love this version of Spider-Man and Tom Holland in general. So, yes, there was a lot of pull for that, but with it being like I said, the closing chapter of the Infinity Saga and the first thing we see after Endgame, and so quickly after Endgame too. I mean, the hype for Endgame was still very real, so that that pushed it a lot too. But
yeah, it would be wrong for and they do assume this, to assume that the character in itself is responsible for how well Far From Home did.
Right.
It was the character and the promise of an interconnected universe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And to me, at the end of the day, both parties were greedy.
Right.
But Disney and Marvel had a reason to do this, because they've been hinging Spider-Man on their existing characters a lot, like Tony. And then Far From Home ends. You got that Tony connection hopefully gone.
Right.
Then Marvel's like, how are we what do we do to create Spider-Man movies that work as Spider-Man movies? We go to a lot of his side characters that Sony's wanting to do on their own.
Right.
So in order to strengthen the Spider-Man brand, they were trying to make a deal with Sony to where it wasn't just Spider-Man. It was going to be all of their Marvel properties were co-financed.
Right.
So that includes Venom 2, Morbius, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And what's so stupid to me is, while that does sound greedy on Marvel's part when you first hear it, because you just probably think Disney just wanted more money, and they're not used to being told no.
Right.
But Disney would have paid for half of the films, when right now Disney has been making the Spider-Man brand stronger and much more appealing,
and only getting 5%.
while they've only been only 5%.
And granted, they're offering
lacking
manpower, and with Kevin Feige's producing, and they're putting work into it, but only getting 5% back. I'm sure it's a lot, and it is a lot for that, but they're offering to do more and to be more involved,
right?
Just to have access to more characters, and
right. And when you look at the Spider-Man films, the MCU Spider-Man films, you kind of have to ask yourself, how much of this was really Sony? Like, how much of this was their people working on it? Because there's so much in there where you have to bring in MCU employees to make the film. And so Marvel was getting the short end of the deal. They always were. We knew that. And so what all Disney was trying to do was make it fair.
Right.
And yes, it was greedy on their part, but at the same time, like, you can't argue that a literal 50-50 split on both ends is fair.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. And Sony, they said no because, one, yes, they don't want to lose out on their most profitable property, but two, they're greedy.
Right.
They don't want to have to split revenue. But the thing that I thought when I heard this was, you're spending 50% to make a Spider-Man movie. You're making 50% back.
Like, it's not a loss for you, right?
It is not a loss for you, because not only are you spending less to make these movies, but you're also ensuring that these movies are a huge paycheck every time they come out.
Right.
You can't make that promise after a stunt like this. In fact, you're basically assuring your own death sentence. Because, yes, the Spider-Man brand is strong, but you know what is stronger? Pissed off comic book fans.
And PC gods. And that's what I hate the most, and especially for Tom. Like, I really hate it for Tom, because, like I said, I really enjoyed Tom Holland's take on Spider-Man and how he's played Spider-Man, and he has technically done more Spider-Man movies than any of the other actors before him. But, I mean, this is an early death sentence, He's contracted for, I think, 2 more Spider-Man movies. I wouldn't be surprised if we got one more from Sony. And like you said, it doesn't do as well. Not that it's going to do bad, but just it's not going to do the numbers that it was when he was a part of the MCU. Yeah. And I'm afraid, they might do that one other one just to finish up his contract, and then I don't know that it would continue past that, and I hate that. I just hate it for him, and I hate it for the whole thing.
I'd be willing to bet that Marvel is playing the long game right now because they're positioned right now where they can do that. Mm-hmm. They're probably just sitting back and just saying, let's see how Spider-Man 3 goes for you.
Right.
And when it is not a financial success, like it'll turn a profit, sure, because people are going to be curious. But when it isn't as profitable by a long shot as the previous Spider-Man movies, I'd be willing to bet the negotiations are going to reopen, and Marvel's going to be like, okay, you want to talk? Let's talk. Mm-hmm. And maybe then, which it would be kind of funny how perfect it would work out, because like right now in the MCU, you could just say that Spider-Man's in hiding because he's been outed.
Right.
Then several years down the road, when we've had a Spider-Man 3 outside of the MCU, it'd be really confusing. Outside of the MCU, doesn't do well. Sony comes back to play ball. Then suddenly, in a random Marvel movie, Tom Holland as Peter Parker appears again, and it's a huge like post-credits crowd freak out moment,
right?
Because he's back.
Yeah.
Something like that could totally happen. It's funny how well this worked out, because you have to kind of wonder, even though they did set up a lot of parallels with Tony and Spider-Man being important in the future, you have to wonder, like, did they know that this was coming? Like, did they leave him at a place to where they could ease him out of the MCU in case negotiations broke? I don't know.
I have a feeling we're going to have to clip this moment in a year and a half from now, maybe 2 years, and say, I predicted this on a podcast. Another win.
I know Sony really well. Okay, you know what? And in fact, I could tell you the podcast from August 3rd on this channel, 26-minute mark. That's where I made my call about Sony taking Spider-Man away. I mean, I'm a god, so
he's a PC god. Everybody, it's what he's in.
Future, past, present makes no difference to a god.
Zeus banged my mom. Okay, I got powers. All right, let's move on. Speaking of Zeus, let's talk about D23. I don't know. That's the best I could do. So D23, for those of you that don't know, is kind of the big Disney convention. It's like a 2 or 3 day event, and typically it's broken up in, like day one of the event, they always talk about new things that are coming to the parks. And then, the next day they talk about their TV shows, and then the next it's the movies or whatever. Just there's a lot of, they talk about a lot of things. The games is one of them. Although I haven't seen a lot of news about games. And obviously Disney has kind of dropped out of games recently. Like they pretty much are just selling their properties to other talented developers to do that. So that was a little disappointing. Yep. But the news has been more than made up, because there's this new service coming out called Disney Plus. And if you haven't heard about it, I don't know what rock you're hiding under, but it's basically Disney's answer to Netflix. And quite frankly, they're gonna probably be the last nail in the coffin for Netflix. And I hate to say
it's a good answer.
Yeah, for real. I love Netflix, and I'm not like canceling my subscription or anything, but I'm getting a Disney Plus subscription because the value there is insane. And before we even talk about there have been a lot of announcements. We're gonna try to stick to just the newer announcements that were announced this week with D23. But just to talk about the service, you get Hulu, and I don't really care about sports, but you get ESPN Now or the ESPN Network or something, plus the Disney Plus stuff for $15 a month.
Yeah, and Hulu's already, in my opinion, better than Netflix.
Right. How much is a Hulu subscription, Steven? Because in my head, it's $10.
Hold on, let me double fact check myself. Right now, if you have Spotify Premium, you can get Hulu for free, or if you have Hulu, you get Spotify Premium for free. It's one or the other.
Yeah, I think it's Hulu, and then you get Spotify free.
$6.
Okay, so that's not as bad as I thought, but
Hulu
still
is well worth it.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great service, but anyway, still Like you take that out, which there's not like package deals or anything like it you get it and you got Hulu,
Right.
but like that's really you're paying $9 for the Disney Plus, and then hey you get Hulu too. Like I don't know, it just to me it's the biggest. I mean it's the best bang for your buck, but whatever. And then let's talk about what all is coming with it. Obviously it's like every Disney movie that's ever existed. I think Dumbo and Song of the South are like two of the only movies that like their original cuts are not going to be on it. They are edited cuts, but
they're still keeping Song of the South close to the chest.
They are. But anyway, it's basically every Disney movie ever. So like if you have kids or like me, I'm eventually going to have kids one day, and I have been hoarding VHS tapes of original Disney movies that I watched when I was a kid. I can finally chunk those out or sell them or whatever, because Disney Plus is going to have them all there. Bam, done, ready to watch on my phone, like done, But then they're doing all this original content, and that's what really is kind of been not plaguing, but like D23 has been almost every day. I can check my phone, and there are 4 or 5 new Disney Plus announcements. So like, just to go through some highlights, and like stop me if you want to talk about something, Steven, but like we've heard about a lot of Marvel shows that are coming. Winter Soldier and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We've known about that one, but we heard at Disney D23 that it's going to be that Sam is not going to start as Captain America in that. He's still going to be the Falcon, obviously, as the name implies. But it is going to be about him kind of coming to terms with that title and learning to, or not, I don't know how to put this, but like him coming to the understanding that he can do this and he can be Captain America. And so like kind of very similar to kind of the idea of Gotham, which was Bruce Wayne before he decides to put on the cowl and just that sort of thing. So like at the end of the show we might see him finally become Captain America. And I don't know if that means, hey, this one season we'll see this and then there won't be a season 2 of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I don't know. We also,
I don't think we'll get multiple seasons of really any of these shows.
I don't either. I feel like they're going to be very much one-off. Hey, let's talk about this moment in time, and just take a real in-depth look at it instead of just having a movie. But anyway, they talked about that, so that's interesting. They talked about Wanda and the Vision. Steven, did you know this is a sitcom?
Yep.
That's weird.
Yep.
To me.
Takes place in the 50s. Yet somehow after Endgame. Also, did you know that Darcy from Thor is going to be in it?
Yeah, how is that going to work? She's not in the 50s. And the police officer detective from Ant-Man is going to be there.
And one other character who I forget who it is.
I want to say there's a villain like Taskmaster. It's not Taskmaster though.
No.
Because he's in Black Widow. Anyway, but it's a sitcom. And they were talking about it's very funny, and it's like apparently it's very funny, and they've been having a lot of fun writing it. And it's different than anything they've ever done. I'm very curious to see what this is like, but whatever. We've talked a little bit about the What If series. They showed a little bit of it. It's an animated version. It's going to be voiced by a lot of the actual characters. One of the first ones
awesome.
it does. It really does. One of the first ones they're going to do is Captain Carter. Which is going to be it's Captain Carter. I think that's what she's going by. That's what they kept calling her. I don't know. It's basically what if I want to keep wanting to say Haley Atwell, but that's not her actual name. What is her actual name? Like, what is her character name?
Peggy Carter.
Peggy Carter. Thank you. What if Peggy Carter got the super serum and became Captain America? And what if Steve Rogers, piloted a early version of the Iron Man suit, whatever. So that's one of the first ones they're doing. So that's great. But then I feel like there was another one that was announced this week in the Marvel. Oh yeah, there were 3 new shows that were announced. Miss Marvel, which is she's like is she an Israeli superhero. Is that right?
She's Pakistani, I think.
Yeah, something
Her name
like
is
that.
Camilla Khan. She is an Inhuman,
Yep.
and she is stretchy and can grow her body. And she's. I've never liked her character.
She can
because she
embiggen.
just seems. She seems like a gimmick, and that gimmick is that she is just a high school girl who's a fan of the Avengers who just really wants to be an Avenger, and that gimmick seems like it's been done a lot, and she's really popular. People love her. I don't get it. But she's getting her own show.
Yeah, so that was an interesting call. And then another probably the most interesting out of the three was She-Hulk. We're getting a She-Hulk TV show. And so I forget what She-Hulk's real name is, but it's Bruce Banner's cousin, and she's a lawyer. And so how she becomes She-Hulk in the comics is she gets sick and needs a blood transfusion, and for whatever reason, Bruce Banner is the closest. He's the closest relative, and so they get a blood transfusion, and she turns into She-Hulk, and she's different from Bruce Banner because she is very much like Professor Hulk, like we saw in Infinity War or in Endgame, where she is still her, but she's just hulked out all the time. And so she doesn't change back ever. She goes straight to just full hulked out and never changes. So anyway,
No joke. I would actually watch the show if it tried to be like a slice of life show where like it's just her trying to be, a single independent woman being a lawyer, but also she's a big green monster.
I mean, I'm sure that's got to be at least part of an episode. You know what I mean? Like they've got to have that moment where she decides what she's gonna do, and she's like, I'm gonna still do what I'm doing, but I'm also gonna fight crime. I don't know. That would be hilarious. But anyway, that is probably of the three, and we'll get to the last one here in a second. But of the three, that is the one I'm probably most interested to see because I don't know. That's such a big character to me, and also like I don't know what Mark Ruffalo's doing after this. Like I don't know how much more we're gonna get of his Hulk. Right. So is She-Hulk replacing him? Like are we slowly working that in? I'm just very curious to see where that goes.
I've never liked She-Hulk.
I don't really know that much of. I mean, obviously I know who she is and what the story is, but
that's what I was gonna say. Is that like, granted, I don't know much about her, but everything I know about her, she also too just kind of seems like a gimmick, and she's never seemed like that great of a character in any of like the group comics I've read.
Right.
So like I didn't really see the need for it, especially in the universe we're in right now. That just seems really out of nowhere.
Yeah. But I think they could do some interesting things with it. But and then the last one, Moon Knight. So
oh boy.
Well, so it's interesting, right? Because we've been talking about there were rumors of Keanu Reeves might be be coming to join the MCU, and we talked about characters that he could be, and Moon Knight was was one that we talked about, but it was obviously a very popular theory, of who he might play. And so I don't think they've named any casting for any of these, but anyway, yeah, Moon Knight. So we're gonna potentially get a TV show of Moon Knight.
Well, we are getting a TV show.
That's what I'm sorry. We're gonna get a TV show of Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Who knows? Could Keanu Reeves be in it? Who knows? I don't know.
I am really excited to see what they do with Moon Knight. I'm nervous,
right?
Because and I think this is what I said to you. We haven't gotten the impression that Disney Plus is going to have a like G to R range,
like Netflix,
like Netflix, like a range of content that goes from like G-rated to rated R,
right?
Because with Moon Knight, the stuff that I've read of Moon Knight, you can't do Moon Knight going any softer than the Netflix Marvel shows.
Right.
You just can't do it. And so if they can make it like the intensity and the grittiness of Daredevil, they could be really good. But I'm worried that they might soften him up. And we're talking about an ex-mercenary who died and was resurrected with dissociative identity disorder and has literally, like, the first comic panel I read of the guy, he tore a dude's face off.
Right.
Like, literally.
Right.
And so you can't go soft with him. You need to go all in.
Well, hopefully they will. So I'm sure there were other Marvel announcements, but like I said, we're just kind of doing a fast take of what all has happened. So let's jump to a different franchise, and I want to start on a high note, and I know it's going to go sour pretty quick, but let's talk about that Mandalorian trailer, Steven.
Ooh.
So
Yes.
I don't think we've talked about it really. So I want to say I want to say where I'm at before you potentially crush my soul or something, because I know how attached to this franchise you are. I love Star Wars, but I'm not the Star Wars big boy. You know what I mean? Like I casually really like almost, pretty much all things Star Wars. I've loved almost all the movies, and I enjoy the games, yada yada yada, whatever. I am a just casual level Star Wars fan. This Mandalorian trailer, I don't know that I've ever been more excited for anything Star Wars related than this. I don't know what it is about it, because there's no Jedis, and Jedis are kind of like the thing that I really like about this world and this series. But like, I mean, really, I was just giddy with excitement watching the trailer because it looks so freaking good.
Yep,
that's my take. Steven, you as the Star Wars big boy, what do you take from this?
First of all, I don't claim that. Second of all, I think it looks great. The buku budget that it has really shows. Which that was my main concern, was that like making a show that's Star Wars. That's a lot of money that has to go into VFX,
right,
and whatnot. And so like I was worried they wouldn't be able to do it, and I'm still kind of worried that we're only going to get like one or two cool effects heavy battles in the entire show.
Right.
But what we were shown looked really cool. I don't know as much about the bounty hunter scene, but right. I do know that it was I think it was IG-11.
Yes.
That was cool. Like the way they showed his like body rotating, but his head was staying like pointed forward. That was a really cool way to like show the an IG droid in combat, because they're like IG-88, for example, is one of the most feared bounty hunters in the galaxy.
Takiti Wata cool voices him.
IG-11?
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure.
Huh.
I think that's right. I keep seeing articles that are like, Wakiti Wata or whatever. Takiti Wata. Taika Waititi. Konami go pee pee. They keep talking about how he. I want to say that the article, like the headlines say, like how he came up with the voice for IG-11. Like when you started saying IG something, I was like IG-11 because I've seen this headline and it's Takiti Wata or whatever doing his thing. But anyway, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but it looks great.
Yeah,
the Star Wars has a very robust lore, and the bounty hunters, the smugglers, those that do the shady things in the galaxy are some of the most interesting characters. So to see more of those is really good.
Yeah, I'm really excited. And so the question I have, Steven, and this is not like oh man, I really just tore through the trailer and noticed this one thing, but like something that struck me as interesting was the Mandalorian never spoke, and we never see his face.
Right.
Do you think? Well, I guess what I'm asking, who do you think the Mandalorian is, and is it going to be something that like is crazy? Because I've seen headlines of people who are acting in it say there's a surprise early on that really will shake the series. And I'm imagining it's the reveal of who he is, or she.
It's a he.
I'm pretty sure it's a he.
And if it's a she, that's a dumb, unnecessary twist.
Well, who do you think it is, and who do you hope he is?
Everything I've seen has implied that I think Pedro Pascal is playing the Mandalorian. Like he's the lead. I think he was in Game of Thrones, but I know him better from The Kingsman 2.
Okay.
He was the main statesman that Eggsy helped Eggsy throughout the movie.
Oh gosh, I know exactly who you're talking about. I'm gonna look up his name because I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah. But as far as like who it could be, do we know when this takes place?
In the Star Wars timeline,
Yes.
we might know that. Again, I am a top level Star Wars fan, so I don't know. And even if I did just happen to know, it wouldn't mean anything to me. Like I couldn't give you any relative information of where we are.
Yeah.
What did you just say? Kingsman, Kings. Man.
The Kingsman. He was the Kingsman Golden Circle is what he was in.
Yeah, Golden. Oh, wait a minute. This is a state. Okay, I understand.
He was one of the statesmen.
He was one of the statesmen.
He was. It wasn't Tequila, because that was Channing Tatum. They all had like liquor names.
Yeah. So you're not talking about Colin Firth. That's who my brain went to.
No. He's. Gosh. Hold on.
Okay, no. Pedro Pascal was whiskey.
That's right. Yeah, that's who it was. Yeah, that's the only thing I know him from.
Okay.
My understanding is that he is the Mandalorian.
Okay. But so what is there a character that he could be like? So obviously he's the Mandalorian, but like so again, I'm a top level Star Wars fan, so like in my brain I'm thinking, oh, he's Boba Fett. Like that's going to be the twist is like he is maybe the original Boba Fett clone or something. I don't know how this all works,
That's Jango Fett.
That's what I'm. Well, what if he's the original Jango Fett, Steven? Let's
Jango Fett is the original Jango Fett.
But what if he's not, Steven? What if it's Pedro Pascal? What if it's Dango Fett? You know what I'm saying? You don't know.
It's the Jango Fett, and it's going to be Jamie Foxx underneath that helmet. God.
Oh man. So okay. Well, so seriously, who do you hope it is, or like, what do you have any hopes of like if it was going to be a big character reveal? Who would you?
Said I don't know that much about the bounty hunter scene, but and you all know where I'm going with this probably. But if I had something that would blow my mind, and looking at Pedro Pascal, he looks like him. Is if they revealed that the Mandalorian was actually Kyle Katarn from the Star Wars Jedi Knight games. And this totally won't happen, but Kyle Katarn was the original guy who got the Death Star plans, and he was an undercover agent for the rebels who acted against the Empire, and then he became a mercenary, and then he found out he was Force sensitive and became one of Luke's right-hand men in Luke's Jedi Order.
Interesting.
So it would be cool because I've just been really wanting Kyle Katarn in some capacity to be back in the Star Wars main canon, because Rogue One, as much as I loved it, retconned him out of existence.
Right.
So that's the only like super deep cut character that it could be that I would want it to be.
Right.
But as far as like it could be a character from the comics, because the comics have been some of them have been a part of the main canon.
Right.
But I don't know any of the Star Wars comics. I don't really know any of the other bounty hunters. Mm-hmm. So I have no idea who it could be, other than maybe Kyle or maybe one of the other book characters.
Okay. All right. Great. Well, that's what I'm assuming that's going to be a big twist, because otherwise they would have just shown it, If he was just a nobody, then I feel like it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But it could just be this. They want the Mandalorian to just be this nameless, or not nameless, but this faceless character of just this mysterious man. He's everywhere, and he's the best of us. He's the best. I don't know. Right. Anyway, who knows? We'll see. Let's take a far downward turn here. We also got another look at the rise of the Skywalkers.
Yeah.
And so the trailer special look, whatever you want to call it, it's very short, but it starts out and it's just like the saga of a generation comes to a close or something, and they show shots, not shit. They show shots from.
Well, they show that too.
Well, they show that. They show shots from the original the original trilogy, the prequels, and then they show some shots from the first two movies, and then we get a couple quick shots of the upcoming movie, including some battles against Rey and Kylo fighting, and some other I didn't really. There's really one thing that just kind of stands out among the rest, but there's some really cool shots of like. What are the big ships called, Steven? The Star Destroyers?
Star Destroyers.
Yeah. There's a shot of like hundreds of those like on a skyline, and like lightning strikes, and you see a bunch of them and stuff. Like there's some really striking visuals. But the thing that has everyone talking is this shot at the very end, and we hear to get this out there too, that we hear Palpatine talking, and we also hear some lines from Luke that Luke had said, but we get some new lines from Palpatine in this, and the thing that everybody's talking about is at the end of the trailer, it shows what appears to be a Sith Rey using a dual
a really stupid lightsaber design.
Really stupid lightsaber, kind of like a Darth Maul like double-sided bow staff lightsaber thing,
But in case you need two blades of the blade that can cut through anything, it's got a scissor mode too.
It's got a scissor mode too. So I do find that fun. And just to go off on the lightsaber design for just a second, it is really funny because when you why does it need to fold up that way? And I've been thinking, this is a stupid thing that I've been thinking about for a long time, Steven, today.
Yeah.
Because in my head, I'm looking at it, and I'm like, okay, cool. I could understand having two lightsabers, pointing the same direction. They're parallel with each other, and there being a grip in the middle that almost like a keyblade. Like keyblades, there's a guard that goes around the handle, and you put your hand in between the two guards, and it's kind of awkward, really, because there's nowhere for your wrist has to be a certain way to hold it properly.
Right.
If you're not a Kingdom Hearts fan, I really don't know what else to describe it to you. But that's what I'm imagining. You have to hold a piece in the middle of that lightsaber to use it when it's folded up. But then obviously when you fold it straight, you can use it like a bow staff. Why does it have a folding mechanism at all? Because obviously she can't use it that way because there's not a thing in the middle, and it bothers me.
I'll tell you why, Jake. Because this trilogy has been more concerned with showing cool things than having any substance whatsoever. Let me tell you a little bit about sword fighting, Jake. So, Kylo Ren's lightsaber, stupid design. Because the crossguard, completely pointless. Because when you use a sword that has a cross guard, that is meant to protect your hand. So if Kylo is going to use that lightsaber to get in a fight with, other lightsabers, it would benefit him if the cross guard could actually help him get pivot over a blade. But the cross guard has two jets, but it's open hilt where the crossguard actually is. So if he tries to block a lightsaber with that,
it'll go through the hilt.
It's just going to go straight through the hilt. And so that's why I've hated Kylo's lightsaber. I hate this Rey lightsaber because they're stupid. They don't make any sense. They don't.
They don't.
They just look cool and And people have said, oh, well, people said the Darth Maul's lightsaber was stupid before. No, they didn't.
No.
That was always awesome.
That was always
always
cool.
practical.
Yeah.
But no.
Well, to move on, because we're nitpicking here. Let's get to the real meat of it. A Sith Rey, okay? Like, what? And
you want me to go ahead and tell you what I think it is?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that Rey, and I've thought this for a little while now, I think that Rey is actually one of Palpatine's contingencies, and she is a clone of him.
Yep.
And he has made several clones of Rey, and she is the only one to have not gone dark.
Yep. I am in love with that theory. What I was gonna say was I've seen a lot of folks on Twitter say, boy, this better not be a damn vision. Like, grow some balls, Disney. Let's fucking go. Like, if we're gonna do this, let's do this. Let's not have like some stupid, force vision bullshit. Is kind of what a lot of folks have been saying, and I kind of agree with that because it's just such a cheap shot of like, oh hey, let's show this really, controversial. Our hero becomes the villain. Thing, which like Star Wars has done that, so like yeah, I get it, but
Yep.
Like if you're gonna do it, let's commit. So then I saw folks say, oh, I've thought Rey was a clone ever since in the Force, or was it the Force Awakens? No, the Last Jedi. Ever since there's that shot where she's like in the darkness, and there's like she's in like an infinite mirror. And there's like several versions of her, and like they're all wearing different clothes. Somebody was like, "I've thought she was a clone ever since this shot here." So I do agree with that theory, Steven, and I think that would be really interesting because we've talked a lot about who are Rey's parents, and like you can say whatever you want about the revelation at the end of at the end of The Last Jedi. But of it just being, oh, your parents are nobodies, your parents are whatever. But like, while not as cool, I guess, as like her parents being someone we know, but like her being a clone, right, of Palpatine, like for him to take over a body or something like that, and she be the only, like you said, the only one who didn't go dark, or maybe the only one that survived, or something like that. Like, oh man, I love that. Like that could be really cool.
I really hope that it's not going to happen, but I really hope that she just ends up being evil.
Really,
and that Kylo sees the light. Because this movie's called Rise of Skywalker.
Right.
The only Skywalker left is Kylo.
Right.
And as much as I have disliked Kylo Ren because they literally don't know what to do with him. He had an interesting premise, but they've just been so wishy-washy with him. They won't commit to it.
Yeah.
That, like, I hope that it ends up being like a flip of the script, and I know they won't do this, but I would love it if Rey becomes the villain and Kylo ends up becoming the hero, and that's how we end it on.
Well, you know who the real villain is, Steven. It's C-3PO. All right. I don't know if you caught this. It was a real quick shot, but that C-3PO's going dark. You know what I'm saying?
The Sith 3PO to me is as stupid of a theory as Darth Banks. I don't want to talk about it.
Can we just talk about for a moment how funny it would be if, like, let's say he does go dark for some reason, and C-3PO is so polite, he's like, "Oh, Master Luke, how are you?" What if he comes out, he's been Sithified or whatever, and he's like, "Bitch, R2-D2, get the fuck out of my way, bitch!" Like, what if he just came out and was just like so rude? Oh man.
Or what if
he was still polite?
One of the characters has a lightsaber thrusted through them, and they turn around, they see C-3PO, and he just goes, "Oh my."
Oh my. Oh man, wow. But yeah, so let me ask you this, Steven, because I know you have been pretty critical of this new trilogy. Do you like where this is going right now, or are you still?
I mean,
I'm sure overall, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure overall you are pretty much just over this trilogy and don't know that there's any saving it. But like, do you at least think this looks like it's going to be better?
I was over this trilogy when Force Awakens came out and was just a rehash of Episode 4.
Right.
But I've been over this trilogy ever since. I think that it has the potential to be something good, but I think that they have spent so much time with this trilogy and its characters just with their thumb up their own butt, doing nothing with the characters or with the story, because the first movie was a rehash. The second movie was backpedaling to where literally nothing was resolved or moved forward really at all, and the characters weren't better or worse for it.
Right.
And so it almost feels like this movie it could be the first time these characters are actually given a chance to be characters.
Right.
And so for me, it's like, yeah, sure, this could be a good movie if it was the first movie in a trilogy, but it's the last movie in a trilogy. And to me, I really hate, like, I was pissed off when it was like, oh, the saga of a generation is coming to an end. And then they showed all the clips of previous Star Wars movies. I really hate that because literally one movie ago, The Last Jedi, you remember that movie? The movie where its catchphrase was, let the past die, kill it if you have to. And we're going to do a Star Wars movie that's not like Star Wars movies. And then now they're just like, oh, the saga's coming to an end. It's so stupid, and they don't know what they're doing.
They can't make a decision on what they want to do.
They can't commit to what they want to do, and so it's been a completely wasted trilogy. So to me, this isn't Star Wars. It's badly written fan fiction. It always has been. And so to me, I'm gonna go see Rise of Skywalker. Stupid name. I'm gonna go see it. I'm probably gonna buy a ticket to go see something else, and then I'll go into that theater. But I have very low expectations.
Okay, but so this doesn't really raise your spirits for much.
Like I said, I mean, what's going to raise my spirits is when we never see any of these characters again. And if Disney came out and said that episodes 7 through 9 were all Yoda's dream, like
Yoda had a wet dream. This is what it was.
In the moment before Yoda turned into a Force ghost, he had a dream, and this was the dream. No, these movies were his purgatory before he could go to heaven.
Oh, there you go. He's like, oh no.
That's
he was in it. He was in it for just a second. Man,
but, I mean, it could be a good movie, but because like we haven't gotten to see what J.J. Abrams can do with an original Star Wars concept.
Right.
Rian Johnson, I hope, was nowhere near any of the buildings where any of this was done, because that guy is a complete hack.
Yeah.
But so it could be good, but like I said, what good is the third movie in a trilogy when the previous two movies haven't been good, feeding into the overarching story or good in their own right?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll just have to see. But and again, that's one of the reasons why I think I'm so excited for Mandalorian, because it could potentially be a taste of what if we diverge from the Star Wars story we've always been told, and what if we do something different. And I don't want to get too deep into this, but it was rumored that Ian McGregor was going to be doing a Obi-Wan series, like a TV show for Disney Plus, and then it was confirmed at D23. He came on stage and confirmed it. So that could potentially be really, really good as well. But again, it is kind of going back to, hey, let's look at something in the past of this story, this saga that we've seen. Like we never saw these moments happen, but like let's go back and I don't know. I'm excited about The Mandalorian. I'm excited about Obi-Wan's show. I'm more excited about episode 11, Rise of 9. Is that right? Yeah, I guess you're right. 9. I'm excited about episode 9. I'm more excited now with this clone theory. I really like it. And there are some other things that happened at D23, Steven. some Disney
There's
announcements.
a lot of park stuff.
We learned that Elsa will not have a love interest in Frozen 2, which I'm okay with. Chris Pratt and Tom Holland came on stage and talked about their new movie, Onward.
Yeah.
I don't really know what they talked about because the only part of it I read was when Tom Holland walked off stage and he looked back to the crowd and he said, "I know it's been a tough week, but I just want you all to know I love you 3000." And he walked off stage and I cried. But that's all I really know about that. And then we also have the new Pixar movie Soul, which I don't really understand because we have the Pixar movie Inside, and I don't really know how they're going to be different. But I'm curious to see where that goes. But you can go look up all that yourself, all right? Because we've talked way too long here on Chortlecast. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this episode of Chortlecast. We do hope you've enjoyed it, watching our audio waves jiggle. Woo, 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 like that. Did you like that? Steven, do you like that? You may do it again. Woo, 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 woo. My audio waves are going crazy. Anyway, we hope you enjoyed it. If you did, there's a couple things you can do to help us out. Number one, if you're watching on YouTube, you're already at chortlegames.com. You can like this video, share it with your friends, leave us a comment, let us know what you think about all these topics that we've discussed and chattered in your ear. You can also, if you're an audio listener, you can leave us a review. That really helps people find the podcast, so we'd appreciate that. Steven, the PC god, now he requires 5 stars or 4. 4 or 5 stars. No, nothing less.
5. Nothing less than 5.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've angered him now. But anyway, you can do that. You can also join our Discord. We have a lot of fun there. You can get there through the banner on our channel page or in the description of this video /podcast. You can send us topic ideas for podcasts, news stories you've heard about you'd like to hear our thoughts on or opinions on. If you've got questions you want us to answer, that sort of thing, you can put those in there. And also you can just hang out with us, post, streams and all that sort of things. We got memes, a meme channel. We got a Pokemon channel that doesn't really work, but we try. Sometimes it sneaks into other places, so we have a lot of fun. We have a Destiny channel. It's all good stuff. So anyway, you're gonna want to hang out there, and then also you can follow us at Twitter. On Twitter and Facebook, both at Chortle Games. Steven, this is not the only thing we do here on the channel. This little channel we call Chortle Games. The podcast airs every Monday at 12 o'clock. Oh my gosh, 12 o'clock Central Time. I was getting stuck on a sound, and I couldn't get it to go past that. Woo woo. So, the podcast airs every Monday at 12 o'clock Central Time. Obviously, today that didn't happen. All right, I'm sorry, but we at least posted on a Monday. Technically, I really only have a number of hours to get this up to be in time for a Monday, but we'll see how that goes. Then a Wednesday is when we do our Let's Plays on the channel. Those are shorter edited content. They're usually they're pretty funny. They're meant to be comedy pieces. We do some pretty funny edits with those. So this week it's gonna be For the King Part 2. This is
Excellent.
a strategy game, turn-based fighting game, whatever. And we're fighting against
RPG.
We're fighting against time to the imminent flood. But we have Big Germ with us, so we might have a chance. So anyway, this will be part 2 of it. It's all we've filmed so far. I don't know if we'll do any more, although it was kind of fun.
I love that game.
We'll see how that goes. But anyway, that'll be Wednesday. If it's not that, it's going to be a stupid mobile game. It just depends on what I have time to edit. So we'll see what that goes. But I'm planning for the King. But if it's not that, don't say I didn't tell you. Then Thursday we have what we call Tea Time. That's where we team up to do a co-op game. Probably going to play Anthem this week because we did a good bit of Destiny last week. Well, I guess we did play some Anthem, but anyway. Then Friday, Steven and Big Germ from 8-Bit Gamesters are going to play some of that Marvel Ultimate Alliance. And they're going to be Cyclopsin and
Colossus.
And it. Who else is it? Cyclops and it's Colossus and who else?
It's Cyclops and Colossus.
Okay, no, I was right. See, you scaring me, boy. So Colossus and Cyclops. Who's going to be Colossus and who's going to be? I already know. You're going to be Cyclops and Big Germ's going to be Colossus.
Yeah. Because I found out that because Cyclops like playing in video games is one of my favorite X-Men just because he's fun.
Yeah.
And Jeremy was like that. It said that he loves Colossus, which I don't know many people that love Colossus, so it's gonna work out. It's gonna be a good time.
It's pretty funny that I started to ask that question, and then I just kind of thought about it for just another second, not even a second, a millisecond, and I was just like, what a stupid question I just asked, because it's very obvious who's going to be who. But anyway, and then Saturday, I, your lovely podcast host, will be playing probably a little game called Clash Royale for the live stream. This is a good mobile game, question mark, that I'll stream. I've been a little obsessed with it lately for some reason. I don't know. I just kind of got back into it. But anyway, we'll play that. We'll see how it goes. If it kind of turns into a not as fun to watch stream, which it may, we may switch to something else. Steven, I didn't even mention, Steven may be playing Control on Wednesday night. Live streaming that for you lovely folks. And if that happens, I was going to live stream Control on Saturday, but if Steven gets to do it on Wednesday, I may not be past the point that he gets to in the live stream. So I don't want to make you guys just rewatch the intro again, So we'll see. If I end up getting to play a lot of Control, which I doubt because I'm going to be playing Fire Emblem, we'll see. So probably Clash Royale for me Saturday. If it really just is not working out, we might jump to Control and see how that goes. But anyway, that'll be just me Saturday. Maybe Lee Allison will join me. We'll see how that goes. And then it's Labor Day weekend, folks. So have a fucking good time. You know what I mean? But be safe. Be responsible. I would sleep. That's what I'm probably going to do. That's what I'd recommend. Steven, what are you going to be doing? You going to be sleeping?
All that matters is that I'm not going to have to work on Sunday afternoon. So
there you go. That's all that. That's really all that does matter. But we'll have another podcast for you next Monday. So look forward to that. Steven, thank you for being a part. I'm so glad, as always, to be honored with your holy presence. And I'm just so grateful that you, the PC Master Race, would step down from your mountain where rubies grow on trees, like little pomegranates, and come down to our earthly level where the pomegranates glitch, and sometimes they don't load in properly, and then sometimes they lag. I just appreciate you coming and shining your light on us.
Well, you're welcome. I was going to say something else, but
I was waiting for a to be clear. I'm a god. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.